Shadowbinders is back in stock on shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. And now on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And oh boy, we're getting another reboot of an 80s cartoon.
Of course we are.
Classic. Yeah, SilverHawks is getting a reboot, but the key difference here is that the people who have the rights to Silverhawk actually seem to care about Silverhawks.
Yeah, let's just hope it continues that way.
Let's hope it continues. We're going to talk about that. This might actually be an 80s reboot done right. We can hope. Every
time we get excited, we thought that He-Man was going to be an 80s reboot done right, and then we're finding out that might not be the case. So I don't know if I have hope left.
We're all out of hope. All right. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 206,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. So yeah, Silverhawks is getting a revival. And when I saw this, it was on Comic Book Resources, my heart sank. Because I'm like, yeah, we know how that goes. We saw what happened to its sister series, ThunderCats.
God, that was so bad.
We know what happened with She-Ra. And we have a pretty good idea of what is happening with Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe. That the people working on these shows don't really care about these shows. They're just using the IP as a stepstone to something else. You know?
Well, they care about their version of the show.
Version.
But their version of the show is usually completely different than the original.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, they're gonna.
Yeah, ThunderCats, of all of them, if I'm being fair, that is the worst. ThunderCats Roar is the worst by far. I mean, it makes She-Ra look good, and it'll probably make He-Man look really good, which we still don't know if it's getting good or not, if I'm being fair. Know. But ThunderCats Roar was just garbage. Yeah. Sorry, it was. It was terrible.
So here's who has the rights to it. It's going to be the people who did the toys that made us.
That's actually a really good show.
That is a very good show. The Nacelle Company, and they're going to be working with Super 7.
Also, I like Super 7 stuff.
Yeah, and they're doing, this explains a lot.
I knew about the toys. I knew that they had those out.
Yeah, I want these. I really want these.
Well, you can get the whole set.
Yeah, you can. Only $250 for all the Silverhawks. Anyway, I actually, as a kid, I preferred Silverhawks to ThunderCats. I did. I had a lot of the Kenner toys, and they had the vacuum metallic body. But the problem with that is that stuff would chip off. It was like C-3PO.
It rubs off. Yeah,
they were all like C-3PO.
But they were cool to look at.
They were. So the Nacelle Company, known for producing Netflix's The Toys That Made Us, is reviving classic 80s cartoon Silverhawks. Silverhawks is a beloved franchise that has been overlooked for far too long, said Brian Flynn, the co-founder and owner of toy company and Silverhawks IP holder, Super 7.
Yay, go Super 7. Please don't ruin it.
Please don't ruin it.
They don't seem to. They seem to actually go for, they try to bring back a lot of classic stuff, not just in 80s toys, but even further back with the monsters and stuff. They seem to be really focused on making them as accurate as they can be. So I think that might work to their favor, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, we are super excited to be working with Nacelle to bring Silverhawks back into the limelight for the diehard fans, as well as a new generation of fans to experience the magic of Silverhawks.
Silverhawks was never super popular, I don't think.
It was Silverhawks and Tiger Sharks, and they were sort of okay, it was Rankin Bass, and they were kind of like, well, ThunderCats is a big deal. Let's just do that again.
Yeah, see, I remember ThunderCats, but I know Silverhawks was on, but I didn't really watch it. So I'm not going to speak to this as someone who's a big fan like I am with She-Ra or other things, because I'm not, but you are.
I love Silverhawks. It was cool. The galaxy seemed very small. It did. They've had all this potential to get all these crazy plants and stuff, and it just seemed like they kind of just focused on the core cast a little bit.
Well, it didn't run very long. I mean, 65 episodes for back then is not a whole lot.
It was one season.
But we're getting some new ones. The thing I'm concerned about is where they're going to go to be aired. Because if they're going to go to Netflix, they'll probably put mandates in. Well, anymore, all these places are putting mandates in place. So I worry about what that's going to mean.
Yeah, so they said cast, crew, network, and streaming platform and targeted premiere date for Silverhawks has yet to be confirmed. But they have the rights. So this is interesting that Super 7 has gone from being a toy store to a toy manufacturer to a rights holder for classic IP.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that happen. I mean, I'd rather see somebody like Super 7 get the rights to something like this than DreamWorks, or because we already seen what they've done with stuff.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, because Warner, I think, would have had Silverhawks because they bought out the Rankin Bass library, but I just don't think they cared. enough about it. I always wanted to see a ThunderCats SilverHawks shared universe, which they kind of hinted at in the 2011 ThunderCats, but they never really elaborated on it because those two could kind of coexist, even though the time is big gap in time. Just go time travel or something. I don't know,
but it's a cool idea. And like I said, Super 7 a lot of times seems to be trying to bring things back. I didn't really have the classic toys, the monsters. They did He-Man. They did the He-Man classics for a while. They still are doing figures. They did She-Ra ones too. So they're doing the Turtles. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff because they seem to genuinely care about these properties.
Yeah, and the thing about the She-Ra figures, I actually think the Super 7 cartoon version of the Filmation version of She-Ra, well, no, it was not a Filmation version of She-Ra. It's if She-Ra was in the Masters of the Universe toy line, but I think that's actually a better She-Ra than the recent Mattel release with the weird, like, Dayglow yellow thing. It didn't work. They do a really good job, for sure. And I don't know. I mean, maybe this is what needs to happen. I almost feel like the only way a lot of these classic IP are going to maintain their integrity is if we get people like Super 7 to get the licenses because they actually care. I mean, you see this with some comic book publishers too. Some of them get the rights to a property because they actually love that property and they do a really good job with it. And then, the rights will get kicked over to some other company and it's clear they don't give a shit. They're just like, let's just crank out.
Yeah. I gotta tell you though, I'm so afraid to be hopeful because I've thought in the past, okay, this might be a good thing. And then we got burned repeatedly. I do think Super 7 would do a better job than other places. Depending on what they're allowed to do though, to get it put on the air. Depending
on the budget. Too. I kind of worry about that. Like SilverHawks and ThunderCats and Tiger Sharks, even, they were very expensive shows back in the day. And, I don't know if, current year they would be allowed to. I mean, I am kind of thinking like, if they go to Netflix, they'll be like, okay, you're coming over to Netflix. Now we gotta gender bend and race bend all the characters, and you gotta add some new characters, and you gotta do this and that to get it through the
exactly. That's what I'm worried about, because it might be that they have the best intentions, doesn't mean that they're going to be allowed to do what they want to do. But hey, speaking of Super 7, I'm really excited about that Godzilla they have coming out.
Oh yeah,
I have to find this for Squid King when it's available. We'll have to see if we can try to get one because he would go crazy for this.
Yeah, this is actually based on the Shogun Warriors.
Yeah, I can't touch one of those. They're too expensive.
Oh God, they're like $1,200 or something.
Yeah, I would if I could. I would, but I can't. They can't justify that much money for an old toy.
But this is a 3.75 inch version of it, and Mike put this up on D-Res yesterday, and I thought it was really cool.
It is very cool.
They really do seem to care about maintaining the integrity of whatever it is the fan base of whatever it is they're doing. And you see some stuff that's really out of left field, like they do action figures of a lot of like punk bands and stuff like that. And,
I love when they do like the cool stuff like the masks and things like at Halloween time.
Oh yeah, the Ben Cooper style.
Yeah, I love that. And they do a lot of these really, really cool limited run pieces that are just fantastic, and they cost more. I bought you a bunch of Transformers not long ago.
Oh, the reaction figures? Yeah, they're cool.
I just love that they do that. So they seem to pay a lot of attention to try to get it right. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that if they do this, we get, a good show and not another one of these.
Yeah, I think they'll give us or at least attempt to give us a decent show. But I do worry.
It's going to be the distributor.
I do worry. I think Netflix, I'll be honest, and I think it's going to come out after the fact that with He-Man, with Kevin Smith, I think it's going to come out after the fact that Netflix probably did a lot more tinkering with this show.
I think so. I mean, I think the fact that, when he reacted the way he reacted to the tweet you made, which I've read it so many times, I'm just like, I don't see anything about this that warranted the reaction. He tagged in. Did he tag in Mattel and Netflix? And there's no reason to really do that unless you're being like, see, I told you. And so I have to wonder, not giving him credit or anything. I'm just saying we don't know, but it does seem like a little odd that he did that. He jumped on it right away. And since we've had experiences before with Transformers, it kind of makes you wonder, like, did people try to tell, them that this is probably a bad idea and they wouldn't listen? I don't know.
Transformers, for those of you who don't know, I got into kind of a spat with one of the producers over the designs of the Transformers like 12 years ago. And it turned out after the fact, way after the fact, had a conversation with him. And he actually reached out to me. I thought it was kind of cool. But he said, look, I didn't mean to drag you like that, but I had to send a message to Paramount because the movie we actually envisioned, it was Don Murphy and Tom DeSanto. It said we actually envisioned a Generation 1 movie. When the script was written, it was written with the cartoon characters in mind. And then once Michael Bay got a hold of it, then everything went out the window and he just made a giant killer robot, spiky robot movie. And because he doesn't care. They weren't even going to put Optimus Prime in it. They were going to do like another version of Optimus. It didn't look anything like Optimus. And I think George Clooney was going to do the voice or something.
But he drug you and then, sent a message up to them too. And there was a reason. But so anyway, I'm excited about this. I hope it turns out to be good. I also got to tell you though, it gets us to a point, I think a lot of you understand this, where you're just like, I'm not going to get too excited until you show me something that I can get excited about.
Yeah.
However, your toys are amazing. Super 7, love your stuff. If I had to put it in the hands of somebody who I trust, I would say Super 7 and Toys That Made Us People would be ones I would put at the top of the list that I think, would try to do the best they could do to make sure they kept it, like it was.
Yeah, and it depends. And look, you can make changes. Like,
make changes aren't always bad.
ThunderCats 2011 was a prime example. Actually, I would say ThunderCats 2011 was superior to the original ThunderCats, and they did actually change quite a bit of the story, but they kept the integrity of the show. It wasn't a big joke. It was solid production values.
2002 He-Man superior to the original.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was. So you can do it and not do this. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
All right. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.